Hi and welcome to my new video. And again we have yet another representative of GShock's third generation, or third material used to create the watch, the carbon core guard technology. And although plastic-made watches are shock resistant, that doesn't make them lighter. It always gave the impression like Casio's GShock was cutting costs and gave them a feeling of cheapness compared to their historical metal case models. New carbon core guard system should make the watch more premium. But we are all used to attributing the premium with watches who weigh a lot. This is totally different. It's a super light at 64 grams, and other dimensions are 51.2 millimeters times 48.7 and 14.1 millimeters in thickness. The GA-2000 series is getting a lot of attention lately as a fresh new look for G-Shocks and its most affordable carbon core guard model. The carbon core guard represents a technological as well as a stylish advancement for G-Shock, as the new carbon fiber reinforced structure is lighter and stronger and allows for smaller sizes and sleeker styles with its advanced shock resistance. Despite the departure from the traditional G-Shock style, the reactions online to these new models have been overwhelmingly positive. The face of the watch includes a disc pointer and a raised hour markers, creating a robust appearance for the watch. It's a three-dimensional face that looks very nice. The display is easy to read even in poor lighting conditions, thanks to the Super Illuminator, high brightness double LED. The watch comes with LED light for face, selectable illumination duration and afterglow, and LED backlight for the digital display. The hand shift feature is excellent as the hands move out the way so that you can get it to see the digital display content with no obstruction whatsoever. The watch includes world time, 31 time zones, home city/world time city swapping, daylight saving, and 5 daily alarms. It comes with a hourly signal, countdown timer, and 1/100th of a second stopwatch as well. The button operation tone on or off is helpful, and you may use the 12 or 24-hour format. It includes both analog, 2 hours and 1 dial, and a digital mode that includes hour, minute, second, PM, month, and date and day. The accuracy is about plus or minus 15 seconds per month. And the watch comes with 3-year battery life, give or take. Unlike the other Gs, the bands of GA-2000 may lay entirely flat with the case. They are also easy to remove with just a slide lever. There is no need for a special tool. It seems that Casio is planning to sell various bands separately with the resin, Cordura fabric and the Velcro among the choices. We saw that on the Pro Track models for years, and people kept asking why Casio doesn't apply the same concept to G-Shocks as well. Well, there you have it. The model still uses a metal plate for the case back, but it's hidden under the fiberglass base that also serves as a lock. The fact you can replace the outer protective shell when it gets scratched up, making the watch look like it's a brand new, is the real advantage behind the design, especially considering it has at least 2-stepper motor inside. A part of the lightness comes from the fact that this case doesn't require the use of steel tubes for button shafts, nor do buttons require any additional protection, as they did on many other G-Shocks. A couple of things I didn't like are these straps or the flimsiness that comes with them. It removes the premium from the watch. Interchangeable for sure, but maybe that's the cost of being able to switch the straps. Another thing is that this plastic buckle that looks cheap and not suited for G-Shock's pedigree. The watch sits very well on a wrist, and while I was wearing it, I received a lot of compliments. Other thing I would stand out is the functionality of buttons and functionality of the watch. Functions of the watch. So let's get through some basics of the watch operations. Regarding the watch operations, I'm gonna start with the mode button and rotate to anti-clockwise fashion. The mode button shifts through some basic functions. You can watch the subdial or the gear over here. As I'm shifting between the world time, stopwatch, timer, alarm, and back to the home city settings with the higher pitch of the sound. Next up is the light button, which of course lights up the LED light. But double pressing it activates the mode that will move the hands away from the digital display. All the displays or the subdials, so you can easily read the time and whatever you want. Again, double clicking it returns the watch to the timekeeping. Over here on the lower right we have a start button, but what it does, it shifts the subdial at 3 o'clock, showing the other info about the time. So it can show the day, though it's Wednesday, the date in this format, the time, and back to the day. Next button is the upper button, and it shows the it's sort of a quick check of the current second time zone or the time in the second time zone. By pressing it once, quick look at the second time zone, and then depressing it will shift the time zone home city and the second time zone time. And now we are in the process of shifting. Again, depressing it, the swap appears on the subdial, and we are back at your current time zone. And we have a button over here, the left upper left one. By pressing it, first of all, let's move the hands. By pressing this button over here, I'm gonna shift the representation of the screen over here, showing us our current time zone. By pressing it once, I see it's Paris, and it gets back to the standard representation of this subdial. Now, and that would conclude this review. Thank you very much for watching. Please do leave a like and subscribe if you haven't. Be sure to check out the detailed tutorial on all the functions of the watch this watch has to offer. Thanks. Welcome to the tutorial part of this GA-2000. Now, before getting to the functions of the watch, I'm gonna show you the main indicators of the watch. And whilst you look at the screenshot over here, I'm gonna say what these numbers mean. So the number 1 is the PM indicator, number 2 is the split indicator, number 3 is the hands shifted indicator, number 4 is the mute indicator, number 5 alarm indicator or the alarm on indicator, number 6 hourly time signal on indicator, and the number 7 the DST indicator or the daylight saving time. Setting the time and date. To set the time and date on the GA-2000, in the timekeeping mode, hold down the adjust button until the set starts to flash on this subdial here. So here we go. And there it is. Now currently we are setting a time zone. You can change your time zone by pressing these two buttons, rotating it from the 31 cities on the timetable. Now I'm gonna leave it at Paris because that's my time zone. Next up would be the daylight saving time, and pressing the mode button we shift to that function. Now as we can see, the DST mark is flashing and the hand adjusting is also blinking. Now to switch the daylight saving time between on and off, press the lower right button and it will shift from on to off. Currently it's in my time zone, it's off, so I'm gonna stay at that. Next, pressing the mode button gets us to shifting between the 24-hour and 12-hour format. Again, pressing the start button shifts between 12 and 24-hour format. Next up, pressing the mode button again shifts us to the seconds, and we can reset the seconds value by pressing the start button. Pressing the mode button again gets us to the hour setting, and we can adjust the value of your hours by pressing these two buttons. I'm gonna leave at mine current setting, but you get the point. Next step would be pressing the mode button again, and we are at the minute setting. Again, pressing these two buttons will increase or decrease the value of settings. Pressing it again gets us to the year setting. Again, pushing or pressing these two buttons will increase or decrease the value of year setting. Pressing it again, we enter the month setting. The procedure is the same. Gonna leave it at January. Again, pressing the mode button gets us to the month setting, to the day setting, sorry. And again, pressing procedure is the same. So today is 8th of January. Then pressing it again, we have over here inscribed key, and that stands for the key note or the tone when operating a watch. How to shift that function? Well, pressing the lower right button, and when it's mute, the arrow will appear over here, or the, I don't know what's this, but it's a logo or dot. I'm gonna leave the key on. Pressing it again lights up this display, or this display over here is active, and this one says it's lighting. So currently it's set at 1. By pressing it, I can increase the value of, or the duration of, when I press the L button, the lighting duration of the watch. Pressing it again gets us back to 1 second, and that would be the illumination duration. Pressing the mode button again gets us back to the beginning and setting the home city, your current home city settings. Once we are done with the old procedure, press the adjust button, and we are currently in our time zone, or the preset values that we have currently ran through. Adjusting hand positions. The watch hands can go out of the alignment with the time on the digital display if it's exposed to the strong magnetism or impact. If this happens, you should adjust the hand positions. In the timekeeping mode, hold down the A button until the sub starts to flash, and release the A until the adjust until the when it starts to flash. If the mode hand is not pointed at the adjustment point mark, and that's this at 9 o'clock, use the reset or the start button to move it there. Hold down the either button to move the hands to the correct position. Now my hand mode is adjusted correctly, so there's no need for me to position it correctly. But you get the point. By pressing these two buttons, you have to align this mark over here with the arrow. Now, next step would be to press the mode button, and when pressing the mode button, I'm gonna shift to the hour and minute hand setting. If the hour and minute hands are not at 12 o'clock, I'm gonna use the reset or the start button to adjust their position. And as you can see, my hands are aligned perfectly. But to show you, I'm gonna show how it goes. By pressing these two, I'm gonna move the watch's hands to the correct position. And press A when it's all start, press the adjust button or the A button to get to the timekeeping mode. Once again, check to make sure the time indicated by the hands match the time on the digital display. If the times don't match, perform the correction procedure above again. And how we are going to see that? Well, first of all, let's wait until the time is set. It's 7:44, and pressing the start button, I'm gonna go, and yes, the digital time is correct with the analog time displayed. Using the stopwatch, the stopwatch measures the elapsed time, split times, and 2 finishes. The stopwatch measures elapsed time in units of 1/100th of a second for the first hour, and 1 second units after that, up to 24 hours in total. After that, elapsed time reverts to 0 and then stops. So how to enter the stopwatch mode? Pressing the C button until the gear mode gets us to the stopwatch, and there it is. It's a stopwatch at the arrow, and we have on the subdials zeros. What these zeros means, this is 1/100th of a second. These are the minutes, the first row of zeros, and the second row represents the seconds. How to perform the measurements, how to perform the elapsed time operations. We start by pressing the start button, and the stopwatch is activated. Pressing it again stops it, resumes it, stops it again, and reset it on the upper button. How to pause at a split time. First of all, start the stopwatch, press the reset button to split, and the split is activated. Split release, and then stop it, and then reset it. How to measure the two finishes. Activate the stopwatch with the start button, press the reset button, and we have split flashing over here. Come on, focus. There it is. It's flashing. I don't know how can camera show that to you. First runner finishes, displays the time of the first runner. Now again pressing the start button, split is displayed. Second runner finishes, start button to split release, display the time of the second runner, and then press the reset button. That would be the stopwatch mode on the GA-2000. Using the countdown timer, from the timekeeping mode, press the mode button until the gear hand over here shows the timer. And there it is, we have the zeros and the 10 aligned over here. These zeros over here represent the seconds. First zero is the minutes, hours, sorry, and the second one are the minutes. So we have a preset value of the 10 minutes. How to activate the timer, pressing the start button, and we have the countdown started, and the time is shown. Pressing the start button again would pause it, and reset button to reset it. How to set the value of the countdown timer. Hold down the adjust button, and we have first hour setting flashing. Use the upper or the lower right button to adjust it. Pressing the mode button shifts to the minute settings, or the value of minutes to change. Gonna get it back to 10. Pressing it again shifts to the seconds. All that can be changed or set. Once we are done, press the adjust button again, and to activate again, go to the same procedure again. That would be the basics of the countdown timer. The alarm mode. From the timekeeping mode, press the mode button until the gear over here or the arrow points at the alarm or the AL. And here we are. Now this watch has 5 daily alarms and the hourly signal tune. So to shift between the alarms, press these two buttons and watch the screen over here as I'm tilting it or shifting it, and we are shuffling between those alarms. I'm gonna go to the alarm 1. Now these two arrows indicate that the alarm is off. By pressing the adjust button once, activates the alarm, and we have a little arrow or the line beneath the alarm, indicating the alarm is on. To deactivate it, press it again, and to set the value of the alarm, hold down the adjust button, and there it is. Automatically it's on, and the hour is flashing. How to set it? Use these two buttons to adjust the time. pressing the mode button shifts to the minute settings, and I can shift between the value of the alarm. Once we are done, press the adjust button and the alarm is on. To deactivate it, press the adjust button again, and two arrows indicate the alarm is off. Shifting to the procedure is the same for all the five alarms, and the hourly time signal can also be changed. Currently it's set to every hour beeps twice. To turn it on, press the adjust button and the signal line beneath the signal SIG is lighten up. To deactivate it, press the adjust button again, two arrows indicate it's off, and that would be the basics of the alarm. And cool thing to know, whilst in the alarm mode, hold down the start button to activate the alarm sound so you can check what it sounds like. So here we go, and there it is. That's the sound of your alarm. Once we are done, pressing the mode button again gets us back to the standard timekeeping. The world time mode on the GA-2000. From the timekeeping mode, one press of the mode button and the gear over here will show the WT, which stands for the world time. And over here we have a city shown that the current time is shown. So by pressing it or pressing this one over here, I can shift the value between from these time zones. So let's get say to Tokyo, because when I got the watch, the Tokyo was the main time. So let's get it to the second time zone. Where is Tokyo? Oh, there it is. And one option over here is that you can adjust the daylight saving time if the current time zone does have one. So hold down the adjust button and the daylight saving time is on, as this line under or above the DST is lighten up. Pressing it again turns it off, and that's the so our current time zone is Paris and the secondary time zone is Tokyo, and because we are in the world time, it shows the Tokyo time. That would be the basics. Getting back to the standard timekeeping, now there's a cool option over here, quick showing the time in a second time zone by pressing the reset button, and we have the Tokyo time shown over here, and the gear knob will rotate to world time briefly. How to perform the operation of swapping the two time zones: by depressing the reset button, and the swap lights up. And currently we are in the procedure of shifting or rotating or changing the swapping the time zones between Tokyo and Paris. So the Paris becomes a secondary and Tokyo primary time zone. Now I'm gonna get it back to the normal, get back to my time zone. It's a Paris time zone. So currently my current or the home city setting is Paris, and the secondary is the Tokyo time. That would be the basics of the second time zone or the world time mode on this watch. And basically that will conclude this review. Thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for the next video tutorial.